Hey everybody, welcome back to another WoT Quickie. I'm Vance from the Gleemen. Today I want to talk about an idea that's been going around for a couple of weeks now that I've noticed since I've joined the online WoT community and Discords and chat groups and so on, and that is men a sexy lamp? Previously, I've been on the side of hashtag men is not a sexy lamp. However, I do think that there may be some merit to this argument, especially in some of the later books. So what is a sexy lamp? So the sexy lamp test is this thought experiment that is designed to highlight how much agency or how impactful female characters are to stories in response and as an addition to the Bechdel test, which is a test designed to check if women have more to offer in a story than are they some love interest or are they interested in a man. You know, it's a way to express their worth as fully realized humans and characters rather than just set pieces. Basically, we apply this to check and see how relevant women are to the work, and if they can be replaced with a sexy lamp, specifically the sexy leg lamp from A Christmas Story, then we may have some problems. So there's the two sides to this argument, obviously. The aforementioned men is not a sexy lamp, and the aforementioned men is a sexy lamp. My first read through, I was definitely a men fan. The character's introduced in the eye of the world. She has a little bit of a mysterious magic power. She's kind of mysterious. She doesn't come back until the Great Hunt. So while there's not a lot in book one, as we move on, Men's character grows in kind of stature and importance to the story. We're going to take a look at some of the examples that people use to highlight the fact that Men is not a sexy lamp. Topping off our list of arguments for why Men is not a sexy lamp is number one. She's a strong female character. She has a strong, unique voice. She has a strong personality, and she is kind of just all around like fully realized character by the time we meet her. She doesn't really have an arc because she's older than most of our characters and she's already been through that phase of her life. Like in terms of her internal growth, it's not that heavy. Number two, she does make some of her own decisions. Examples of this are she's the one who decides to help Swan and Leanne escape from the tower after they've been stilled, and she goes along with them down to Saladar when they escape. She also decides that she's going to go with Elaine and Egwene and Nynaeve to Tommen Head when Leandrin comes and takes them. She doesn't have to do that. That's her choice, and she gives the reason that she's worried about her friends being in danger. So ain't no man involved in that scene, although you could read into it and say she knew Rand was at Tommen Head, but I don't know. I mean, we know that as readers, but do they know that necessarily? Well, Leandrin does say that Rand's there. So the next point on this list is that Men does kind of keep Rand grounded and sane during the latter parts of the books when he's super unhinged and very nervous, especially after Demise Wells. This argument, I think, it has some merit, but there's also some problems with it, and we're going to get into the next section. Lastly on this list, Men becomes Tuon's Doomseer at the last battle in A Memory of Light. This allows her to help ferret out spies that are in Tuon's camp, and allows her to possibly steer Tuon in specific directions thanks to the signs she can see. So whether or not this is an example of agency, because she's kind of pressed into this role, is up for debate, but it does give her some leverage, not necessarily in so much in the story as it's happening then, but the repercussions of her status after the last battle in the new Shanshan Empire in the Westlands. So there's some debate to be had there, I think, but overall, in the books, there's not very much. All right, moving on to our next section, arguments for why Men is a sexy lamp. We're going to kick this one off with the fact that Men is a fawning lover for Rand. Early on in the books, she sees that she is going to fall in love with him head over heels, and instead of being like, no, I'm my own person, I'm not going to do it, given the nature of her ability and how it's explained to us, she just accepts this fact, and she falls madly in love with Rand at like first sight. It's jarring. It's Jordan's romance, which is like, oh, they see each other, oh, they're young, oh, they're in love. So He's not a strong romantic writer in any regard. However, this one is one of the absolute weaker starts to a romance, though the argument is had that it's one of the better ones because we see so much of it. It's debatable. I mean, Min and Rand are fine. They're not as bad as some others, but they're kind of vapid in their relationship. There's not a whole bunch of depth there, in my opinion. I mean, it's like they're together all the time. To the next point on this list, she doesn't really help Rand make many decisions in regards to her status as his closest lover / advisor. She does do viewings. She tells him what she sees around people, but she seems to constantly, utterly fail at helping Rand make good decisions. Rand makes a whole bunch of terrible decisions in the latter half of the books that are quite destructive. And I mean, she's never really able to help this because every time Rand makes these decisions, he just travels away from her and then starts doing the thing. So she never really gets a chance to assist in that regard. And I think that's a big knock against her, especially in the latter half of the books, because she's just not present during some of these things. Like when Rand is trying to lightning bolt the Shan-Chan army with Kalendor, and he lightning bolts his own army. Or, when Rand is going to go destroy Ebudar to wipe the Shan-Chan off the face of the earth, and he almost does it. He almost goes through with it. There's a lot of moments where Min maybe could have made some impact, but Rand is so crazy by this point. I don't actually know how much impact she's having, if that makes any sense. Min is actually more of a damsel of distress from book 6 to like book 12 than anything else. She's constantly used against Rand and used to get at Rand more than anything, such as when she is taken prisoner with him when the Tower Aes Sedai put him in the box, such as when Semirog attempts to kill her instead of Rand, causing Rand to lose his hand, and when she attempts to kill her again using Rand in the melee dom, before he just kind of yeets her out of existence. It's starting to not look real good for Min, guys. She may just be a sexy lamp. We don't know. So I do kind of want to look at a couple of scenes from the series and examine these a little bit closer. First, I want to look at when we're introduced to Min and her role in this scene. Basically, Rand is walking up and he sees Min, who he had seen speaking with Moiraine before. She comes up and talks to him and then basically says, "I see visions around you and your friends," and gives him some vague interpretations of them, which, kind of freaks him out. And then she just kind of nopes out of the story until the Great Hunt. I think in this scene, 100%, Min can be replaced with a magical sexy lamp. A magical sexy lamp that's just sitting on a crate that Rand walks up to, and it shines a light on him, and then boom, he gets all these visions and a vague understanding of it. "Oh, hello. I'm Rand. And you are?" "I don't know any Aes Sedai. What are you talking about?" "What do you mean? What are you telling me? What are you doing? No! 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 No!" Or the lamp literally talks to him because it could be like a magical spirit inside the lamp. I think Min's first scene, definitely a sexy lamp, unfortunately. Sorry, Min fans. I like her too, but we can't deny the fact here that she doesn't do a lot in this scene other than it's in her introduction. But Vance, that's just the first scene and her first introduction, where she has very little screen time in the first book. Okay, I agree. It's not the strongest point, and it is an introduction that lasts for maybe all of 10 pages, so out of an 800 plus page book. So we'll see as we move further along. So Min's next decision that I want to examine in a little bit more detail is in the Great Hunt, when she decides to go off with Egwene, Nynaeve, and Elaine over to Tommen Head. There's going to be two sides to this argument here. Is she going to just truly help her friends? Or is she going because she heard Leandrin mention that Rand and buddies were in trouble? We're not going to know because we don't get Min's POV at this point. It's all from Egwene's POV. And we know why Egwene's going. One, she has, her duty to her friends, and she still thinks she's in love with Rand at this point. And number two, she's being told by presumably a trustworthy Aes Sedai, despite the fact that I think everyone knows Leandrin is kind of shady by this point in the book. And so, we don't really know why Min's going. We just have to take her at her word that she said she's going because of the girls. There's an argument to be made that Min was just going to go get to Rand. But we don't know. And that's going to be a point that can be debated back and forth, I think, forever. And those who are way more vested in reading into the subtext of the scenes in the series, go ahead and let me know later on what you think, because I'm very interested. So the next scene where I think Min has probably the most agency in the entire series, in regards to displaying her ability of being a character and being a part of this world, is when she and Laris, the White Tower head of the kitchens, help Swan and Lyanna escape after they've been stilled. They eventually rope Gawain into this somehow, and this is one of the 5 best decisions Gawain ever makes in the series, and they are able to smuggle them out of the tower, and Min goes on with them to go to safety. And this is not to go to meet up with Rand or anything. This is literally Min making the decision to save these 2 women's lives and help get them down to the rebel Aes Sedai faction. So in this regard, I think Min displays incredible agency as a character and a crucial plot point to help save 2 rather large side characters within the story up to this point. Moving on to the next decision, Min decides to go back to Rand. I know but with the explicit purpose of, there's no redeeming this one, guys. I'm sorry. She just goes back because she loves Rand and she's all about Rand. So it's a knock. That's gonna be a knock, and that's what kicks off the entirety of the second part of her damsel-y nature in the books. Ultimately, I think Min does kind of fit the sexy lamp trope, but I don't think it's 100%, right? I think it's a little bit more nuanced than that. I think probably for 70% of the books, she is kind of just a set piece that is around. You can't argue that, she's around during some crucial moments, but what is she doing? She's being used against Rand. She's, making sure the story and fate moves along a specific path. It's really strange. It's really hard because of the nature of her abilities, as well as just the way she's written, to look at her and be like, this is a fully developed character. She has moments, she's not 100%, she's not 100% a sexy lamp, but definitely both of her legs are. I hope everyone enjoyed this video and had fun with it. It was an interesting look. I'm sure I got plenty of things wrong, so if anyone wants to comment down in the down there and tell me why I'm wrong or why I'm correct or why you agree with me or disagree, go ahead. This is, I just want to spark some discussion around this, and I think it's a fun joke, and I think everyone has some good-natured ribbing within the community. So, with that said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Thanks for watching. This has been Vance from the Gleemen. Go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more Wheel of Time content, and I will see you guys next time.